Welcome to this explainer. Over a 30-year career in risk and actuarial science, my literal job was measuring human lifespans. Day in and day out, we built these incredibly complex models to predict exactly how long people would survive, all based on just an endless stream of data. But today we're diving into a profoundly simple 15-word piece of text that honestly completely shatters all that math. It's the kind of quote that really forced me to stop and realize that calculating mere survival is very different from calculating what it means to actually be alive. We're going to unpack these words, examine the stark contrast they present, and look really closely at the core message about the human condition locked inside them. If you value structured, efficient learning, but with a completely different perspective, well, you are in the perfect place. Let's break this text down and map out the incredible reality it describes.
Here is our source text in its entirety. Let's read it together, and I really want you to let these words sink in. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Wow, just take a second with that. In just two brief sentences, this isn't just a casual passing observation, right? It's a massive claim about global human data. In my actuarial work, we look at millions of lives as just data points on a massive bell curve. But this text? It challenges the very baseline of those spreadsheets. It suggests that what we measure as a lifespan is, for most folks, just biological existence. It totally forces us to immediately question the nature of our own reality, and it challenges what we assume day-to-day life actually is.
Think about how this maps out statistically. We're faced with a stark, undeniable reality here. The massive majority, the most people the text mentions, represents the expected outcome. In actuarial science, this is the baseline human condition of merely surviving. It's the overwhelming, totally predictable norm. But then, consider that tiny, almost imperceptible sliver. That represents the people who truly live. The text literally calls it the rarest thing in the world. We are definitely not talking about a comfortable 50-50 split here. The author is presenting true living as a massive statistical anomaly. It's just a striking realization of how scarce the act of living actually is. It kind of makes you realize that what society considers normal is, according to this text, simply the act of taking up space.
So what exactly does it mean to fall into that massive majority? Well, the text defines existing as mere presence. And what's incredibly powerful here is the punctuation of that idea. That is all. Say it out loud to yourself. That is all. For 30 years, my industry measured this exact state. A beating heart, avoiding catastrophic risk, just surviving day to day. But this text strips away the illusion that survival is an achievement in itself. It suggests that just breathing in and out, with no deeper meaning, is a tragically flat biological baseline. There's just a profound finality to that phrase, isn't there? It means life is nothing more than just being present, and absolutely nothing beyond that.
Okay, so if existing is just that flat, predictable baseline, what on earth is living? The text doesn't actually offer a literal dictionary definition or, a step-by-step instruction manual for how to live. Instead, it defines living entirely by its extreme scarcity. It is the rarest thing in the world. In risk assessment, we actually call these rare, unpredictable occurrences tail events, and here, living is the ultimate beautiful outlier. It goes far beyond mere existence. It's an active, vibrant state of being that the vast majority of people simply never reach. The sheer urgency in calling it the rarest thing makes us realize that living isn't something that just happens to you by default. It's an exception to the rule. It requires consciously breaking out of that massive expected baseline.
What this creates is a completely uncompromising binary. We have the default, the domain of the masses, summarized by that bleak phrase, that is all. And entirely opposed to that is the grand exception, the rare few, the ultimate achievement in the world. The source text does not offer a comfortable middle ground here at all. There's no gray area. There is no somewhat living or mostly existing. Actually, it's a rigid, absolute line drawn in the sand. You are either in the massive crowd, just showing up, or you have somehow defied the odds to reach that incredibly rare state of true living. The friction between these two ideas just becomes impossible to ignore. It's a deliberate, philosophical division of the human experience.
Which brings us to the ultimate, inescapable conclusion of this explainer. We've mapped out the incredible scarcity described in these 15 words, we've defined the bluntness of mere existence, and we've analyzed the strict binary between the masses and the rare few. After decades of analyzing life expectancy, I can tell you for a fact that the math can easily predict how long you might exist. But absolutely no formula can calculate if you are going to live. So the lens turns directly onto you. When you look at this profound binary we just deconstructed, are you truly living or do you merely exist? It's a heavy question derived entirely from a simple text, but it demands a real internal reckoning from all of us. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and keep seeking that incredibly rare state of living.